Have a seat. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Has everyone checked in on Foursquare at the event?
Thank
No?
you.
Raise your hand if you have.
Raise your hand if you haven't. Why do you guys hate fun?
So, guys, welcome. We have Dennis Crowley, the founder of Dodgeball, on the end there. Oh, I'm sorry, the new one's Foursquare.
Thank you. Important distinction.
Thanks for coming. Chris Cox, the Chief Privacy Officer at Facebook, and Vic Gundotra. I can't think of anything funny to say right now, but we have something, a little treat for you in a little bit, so we'll get to that later. No, just kidding. Chris Cox and Vic Gundotra. We've got, there's a mobile panel, and hopefully nobody's going to be yelled at on this panel. Nobody's going to be in any way made uncomfortable. The goal of this, I'm not kidding, the goal of this is to honestly take some of the smartest people in the world in mobile and talk to them about, how they see the mobile world in the future. And we'll talk a little bit about stuff going on right now as well. This is a long panel, and we made it this way so that we'll have plenty of time for questions from you guys. So it'll probably take 10 to 20 minutes at the end for that as well. So with that, let's get started. And I do have to, Chris, I at least have to ask this one.
Go for it. Yeah.
And it is not even indirectly related to mobile, but there's we have to at least address this just quickly. There's so much going on with privacy issues around Facebook. What are you going to do? And you've said something's happening imminently. What's happening with this? What are you doing to remedy the problem?
Yeah, so it's been an intense week, a couple weeks for us, and it's been a humbling couple weeks for us. We've been spending a bunch of time talking to advocacy groups and to a lot of our loudest critics and to a lot of our users, and just to understand what people are looking for exactly. And Mark wrote a blog post which was published yesterday, and our plan is to announce and begin rolling out a drastically simplified version of our privacy controls, addressing what a lot of people have asked for, and making it much easier to control your information on Facebook starting tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's the news.
So starting tomorrow, you'll announce it, or starting tomorrow, the privacy features will be live?
Both. We're going to be beginning to roll them out tomorrow.
Okay. And there'll be a separate announcement on the exact time and all of that?
That's right. And exactly what's changing will be announced. But we wanted to respond not just with what we want to do, but actually with product that was better.
Where is this announcement being made? A Facebook blog, or where should people look for this information?
I think it'll be pretty widely available. I'm not sure exactly the
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that.
Of course.
Dennis, I actually would love to know what the go-to phone for all of you is. You have an iPhone, Dennis, right?
Yeah, I'm still iPhone.
Chris?
I have the new HTC Incredible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good. It's rocking.
So how do you use Facebook then? Because there's no Facebook app for that, right? Or the one
There's a Facebook app.
It's like a viewer app. It's not really an internet, right?
It's a good app. It's really fast. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vic?
HTC Incredible. I've got obviously lots of
So
phones.
there are 60 Android phones?
Yeah.
And you could have any one of them?
That's right.
You have all of them?
That's right.
And the Incredible is the one you chose. Why is the Incredible the phone that you chose? Is your go-to phone for today?
It's a go-to phone for today because it's really fast.
Yeah.
Not only is it a great fast device, but
Yeah.
the Verizon network is awesome.
Not awesome at my new house, by the way.
In the San Juan Islands.
Yeah, but Sprint, randomly, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sprint's got a great device too.
I once threw a phone out a window, a Sprint phone out a window, because it was just so awful. This is back in the 90s.
You throw things? Never.
It was out of a moving vehicle. Yeah, because it was so bad. I mean, if you ever on the 101, it was on the 101 over by the airport, just every lucid hole.
Did it hit anyone?
Yeah. Oh, come on. All right. It was like it was a perfectly safe toss. this. Remember when the guy from Google like stood in front of my car and because I was on the phone without a headset? Do you remember this?
No.
I was going to a meeting with you and he stood in front of my car and went like, I'll talk about it later, but why not the Evo?
The Evo is not shipping yet.
But you have it. I mean, you could be using the Evo.
Yeah,
right now, right?
well,
I mean, how many people in the audience have an Evo right now? You were all at I.O., right?
I did have one, but it was, my wife took it from me. She loved it, and my daughter loves watching Disney on it, so.
You didn't ask, but the phone I have is this. I did a post on this. And this is a LG 100G, I think, is the model. It's,
apparently feature phones are making a comeback.
it's
That's the message.
it's the new black. It's this phone cost $24. It had 300 minutes included, and I can buy more minutes for 10 cents each. And it doesn't have Foursquare, but it makes calls that never drop. The battery I've recharged like twice. I mean, it just never, the battery, it's almost like there's a hamster in there that just keeps running. And I'll tell you that, there's things that suck about these old phones, but if you remember back just a few years ago, our biggest problem wasn't that our calls never went through. It was that, we couldn't browse the web and things like that. But I gotta tell you, sometimes you need to make a call, and it's really nice to have a phone that does that.
You carry two devices.
Yeah.
You carry one with data and you carry one for voice.
So what's the, okay, so
Right? Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
What's the data one?
Is this a guessing game?
Well, what would it be in a perfect world? Because I think that maybe you need a phone like this, and then you just need an iPad in your bag.
I'm not going to take a bag with me everywhere I go, though.
Yeah, but do you need data everywhere you go?
What else are you going to do when you're standing in line for the hamburger?
Well, I guess it's the data because you can't make a call, right, with the phone. I'm just saying, so I think there's two interesting things in here. One is the newest phones, all the phones we see aren't making calls any better. And then sort of the iPad, the rise of the iPad. Is there going to come a point when maybe we do go back to simplicity on phones, or am I just hitting the ball?
I think you can have both. You should be able to have a great smartphone that allows you to browse the web, use Facebook, Foursquare, and make calls.
Okay, but
I don't think that's too much to ask.
When are you going to have that phone built?
I think this phone is fantastic.
Yeah,
Making calls for me, it has not a single drop call. It's awesome. I don't know, you have the phone.
No, it's good. Verizon is awesome.
I have problems with AT&T, but they're not deal breaker problems.
Yeah.
It's not enough to break the contract and go get another device. And the only people I'm calling are my grandmother and my parents. Like everyone else in New York, I just communicate with text.
Okay. All right. Just getting you guys warmed up, by the way. Let's talk about location. Vic, I'm going to ask you this. Is Foursquare one? Are they the YouTube of location? Is it just over?
So I don't.
Or is it not the case?
I think there's going to be lots of players. I don't think there's going to be one necessarily that everyone in the world uses. I think people will use different services. I think Foursquare has done some pretty amazing work, some early leading examples of the kind of exciting things you can do with check-ins. But it's early. It's extremely early. And so I think you're going to see lots of innovation in the next year from everybody. And I think that's good. That's good for consumers.
So I think you're saying, no, it's likely there will be many players.
Yeah, I do think there will be many